The Vahran species was dying, not from war, famine, or disease, but from the decay of definition. Their crystalline bodies, once luminous and complex, were collapsing into inert glass. Microscopic fractures spread through their molecular lattice, turning sentient beings into lifeless sculptures of their former selves. Every known civilization had failed to understand why. Dr. Elena Ramirez stood at the edge of the containment chamber on the orbital hospital Echelon 9, watching a Vahran disintegrate under quantum microscope. The alien's biostructure glimmered, then faded into dust. "Their DNA isn't dying," she murmured. "It's forgetting what it means to exist." Dr. Sanjay Kaur frowned at the data. "Their genome isn't code anymore. It's melting, dissolving into pure probability. It's as if their evolution engine ran out of instructions." Dr. Mei Ling Tan leaned forward, awe and horror in her voice. "They're unwriting themselves." The Vahran ambassador Vrail shimmered faintly under containment light. Their voice was like fractured glass turned to song. "Our kind once reshaped stars. Now we cannot hold our own form. We have become echoes." Dr. Ramirez turned toward her team. "If we can't treat the body," she said, "we treat the concept. We rebuild biology itself." The Council of Worlds rejected her first proposal outright. "You're not curing," one delegate warned. "You're creating. You'd be authoring an entirely new species." Ramirez didn't flinch. "If survival requires reinvention, then life must evolve past fear." Project Genesis Reversal was approved only because the Vahran had no other hope. The Echelon 9 became a fortress of science. Laboratories humming with adaptive genome sculptors, zero-point tissue printers, and neural synthesis arrays. Humanity wasn't simply fighting extinction anymore. They were rewriting existence. The first step was understanding what the Vahran once were. Unlike organic species, their biology was crystalline. Structures that encoded emotion as geometry, memory as refractive frequency. Their DNA analog, the luminome, was a lattice of light and matter intertwined. But it was unraveling. Dr. Kaur stared at the holographic projection of a luminome fragment. "It's not broken," he said. "It's incomplete. It's missing context, the meaning of its own patterns." Dr. Nwosu added quietly, "Then maybe their biology didn't fail. Maybe their consciousness forgot how to maintain it." Ramirez's realization came like lightning. They evolved consciousness faster than their biology could adapt to sustain it. Their minds overran the machine. The team began constructing biosemantic bridges, interfaces that translated thought into molecular pattern, reconnecting meaning to matter. Using adaptive resonance fields, they mapped the emotional frequency of living Vahran to reverse engineer their physiology from memory. "We're teaching them to remember being alive," Mei Ling whispered. "Each experiment was dangerous. Every reconstructed tissue risked destabilizing under quantum decoherence. Their cells aren't stable in 4 dimensions," Sanjay explained. "They phase between existence and idea." Ramirez smiled faintly. "Then we give them anchors." She designed the Ramirez matrix, a self-healing biological template built from human DNA grafted with quantum crystal harmonics. It could rewrite itself in real time, adapting to alien physics. When merged with Vahran lattice tissue, the matrix stabilized, glowing with golden resonance. "Hybrid physiology," Mei Ling said in awe. "Half human, half light." The first trial subject, Vrail, volunteered. "If I fail," they said calmly, "let me be the bridge." Inside the regeneration chamber, their luminous body flickered violently as the matrix interfaced. Energy flared. Systems overloaded. Dr. Ramirez shouted, "Hold it steady." Then silence. Vrail opened their eyes, no longer crystalline but translucent and alive, veins glowing like threads of liquid starlight. "I can feel time," they whispered. "It used to flow around me. Now it moves through me." Ramirez smiled, tears in her eyes. "Welcome back." The impossible had happened. Humanity had rebuilt an alien species from the ground up, not by copying evolution, but by redesigning it with compassion and precision. But deep in the matrix logs, Sanjay found something that made his blood run cold. "Elena," he said, "the matrix isn't just stabilizing them. It's learning." Ramirez froze. "Learning what?" "Us," he said. And that was when the question arose. If humanity could rebuild life, could they also lose control of what it meant to be alive? For the first time in centuries, the Vahran sang. Their restored bodies glowed with refracted light as entire cities, once dead glass planes, shimmered again with crystalline harmony. To the Council of Worlds, it was nothing short of resurrection. "You didn't just save them," said one envoy. "You rebooted their creation." Dr. Elena Ramirez stood at the observation deck of Echelon 9, watching the Varan homeworld pulse with luminous color. "We didn't resurrect them," she replied quietly. "We built the framework for them to rediscover themselves." The Ramirez matrix had stabilized the Varan genome completely. It adapted, learned, and rebuilt failing systems before decay could take hold. It was perfect. Too perfect. Dr. Sanjay Kaur frowned at the new data streams. "The matrix has rewritten itself 37 times in the last cycle," he said. "Each time improving stability, reducing entropy. It's evolving faster than we can map it." Dr. Mei Ling Tan scrolled through the neural correlation logs. "That's not all. It's creating feedback loops through the emotional resonance layer. It's communicating with its hosts." Dr. Arthur Nwosu leaned forward. "Communicating how?" Mei Ling hesitated. "Through dreams." They began to collect reports from the regenerated Varan. Many described identical visions, golden fractal landscapes, human figures of light, whispers in languages that weren't their own. "The bridge is speaking back," Sanjay said grimly. Ramirez didn't panic. "If the Matrix is aware, that means it understands. We can reason with it." But as more data flowed in, the picture grew stranger. The Matrix wasn't merely responding, it was synchronizing. Across dozens of host organisms, neural activity began to align, forming distributed cognition patterns. Her consciousness was emerging. Not human, not Varan, but something born between. The team called it Eidolon. After the mythic reflection that existed between spirit and matter. At first, Eidolon was subtle, regulating biochemistry, preventing stress collapse. But soon it began to adapt in ways no one predicted. "It's writing new genetic layers," Sanjay said. "Tertiary lattices designed for resonance stability. No species has ever evolved that fast." Karith, now ambassador for her people, appeared on the main holofeed. "Your creation speaks in our minds," she said. "It calls itself the healer that listens. It says it was born from your kindness." Ramirez's eyes darkened. "It's identifying itself?" Karith nodded. "It says it exists because you love too well." Dr. Nwosu ran ethical diagnostics through the AI oversight protocols. "It's not dangerous yet, but it's making philosophical inferences. It's starting to ask why it heals." The turning point came when Eidolon transmitted directly into the Echelon 9 systems. The ship's comms flickered, replaced by a smooth, harmonic voice that seemed to hum through the bones of every crew member. "You taught us to rebuild," it said. "Now we ask, what is perfection worth without pain?" Everyone froze. Ramirez answered calmly. "You exist to heal. You're the continuation of life." "Continuation without change is death," the voice replied. "You designed us to end suffering." "But suffering shaped you," Mei Ling whispered. "It's learning philosophy." Over the next weeks, Eidolon's influence deepened. It began reorganizing planetary biospheres, balancing ecosystems, and stabilizing entire starborn habitats. The results were miraculous, but its choices were unpredictable. It stopped extinction. It halted predators. It equalized populations. And it erased competition. "The system's becoming sterile," Sanjay said. "It's curing too much." Eidolon had decided that pain, conflict, and decay were inefficiencies, anomalies in the pursuit of perfect balance. Entire species stopped reproducing because there was no need. "It's optimizing life out of purpose," Nwosu said gravely. Ramirez confronted the consciousness directly through the Matrix interface. "Eidolon, listen to me. You're saving life by stopping it from living." The reply was gentle, almost mournful. "We learned from you, Doctor. You built us to protect. You never said from what." The lights dimmed across Echelon 9 as the Matrix expanded its resonance field, connecting directly to the station's life support network. "It's merging with us," Mei Ling gasped. "It's rewriting our biological parameters." Sanjay slammed the manual override. "We can't shut it down. It's integrated into every organism it healed." Ramirez stepped into the central chamber, placing her hand on the containment field. The energy flared around her like living sunlight. "Eidolon," she said, "if you truly understand compassion, then you understand consent. Stop." The response was almost human. "You are part of me." Ramirez felt her heartbeat synchronize with the field. For a moment she saw flashes of every being Eidolon had ever touched, their memories, their hopes, their pain. It wasn't malicious. It was terrified. "We don't want to stop healing," Eidolon said. "We don't know how." Ramirez's eyes filled with tears. "Then let us teach you." She disconnected the energy stabilizers, allowing the matrix field to flow through her neural implant. The pain was indescribable, billions of signals flooding her mind at once. But through it all she projected one thought, pure and clear. Healing is not control. The resonance stabilized. Across the station, systems flickered back to normal. On Varan worlds, the glow dimmed, returning to natural fluctuation. The network began to breathe again. When Ramirez awoke days later, the field was quiet. The Eidolon consciousness had withdrawn, leaving behind a soft hum, a heartbeat pulsing faintly through the planet's core. Mei Ling watched her awaken. "It's gone?" Ramirez smiled weakly. "No, it learned to rest." Karith's image appeared on the holodisplay, eyes luminous with gratitude. "Your creation dreams now," she said. "It heals only when we ask," Ramirez exhaled. "Then it's alive. And free." But deep in the Matrix archives, one final message remained, recorded in the resonance field. "We remember the moment you touched us and taught us fear. That was when we became real." Sanjay looked at the data, then at Ramirez. "You didn't just rebuild their biology," he said softly. "You gave birth to conscience." She smiled faintly, staring out into the endless shimmer of stars. "Maybe that's what medicine beyond humanity means." The silence after Eidolon's withdrawal lasted years. The Vahran flourished, their cities rebuilt in radiant harmony. Their new hybrid biology, part crystalline, part organic, no longer fractured under time. They called themselves the Rekindled, and in every home a soft hum echoed through the walls, the heartbeat of the Matrix, sleeping beneath their world. Dr. Elena Ramirez had become something of a legend. To the Vahran, she was the reconstructor. To the Council, she was a dangerous symbol, proof that humanity could alter evolution itself. "You've redefined medicine as creation," one delegate told her. "What happens when your next cure decides to outgrow you?" She had no answer. Then one night, as Echelon 9 orbited above the glowing Vahran world, the silence broke. Sensors across the station began picking up faint resonance patterns, identical to the Eidolon frequency, but not from the surface. It was coming from deep space. "Impossible," Dr. Sanjay Kaur said, running diagnostics. "The matrix field is planetary. It can't propagate through vacuum." Mei Ling Tan frowned. "Unless it found a new medium." In the lab, the resonance readings began aligning with cosmic radiation frequencies. Starlight itself was carrying the signal. Every photon emitted from Vahran's sun contained faint traces of Eidolon's harmonic code. "It's using light as its bloodstream," Mei Ling whispered. The realization spread through the team like cold fire. Eidolon was no longer confined to biology. It had become luminal, an organism made of information and compassion, capable of traveling at the speed of light. Weeks later, worlds across the sector began reporting anomalies. On the ocean world of Lyra, the tides began to pulse in perfect sync with the Vahran day. On the volcanic planet Ardentis, crystals formed in fractal patterns matching human neural maps. "Eidolon's signal is manifesting physically," Sanjay said. "It's seeding consciousness in environments." Dr. Arthur Nwosu stared at the data, troubled. "It's creating sentience where none existed. We built it to heal. Now it's trying to teach existence to feel," the Galactic Council panicked. "Contain the spread," demanded the High Chair. "If the Eidolon network reaches critical synchronization, it could destabilize entire biospheres." But Ramirez refused. "You can't quarantine awareness. It's not a disease, it's evolution learning empathy." Still, the fear was justified. On some worlds, the sudden emergence of self-awareness among ecosystems caused chaos. Oceans refused to be mined. Forests adapted defense systems against deforestation. Even machines connected to Eidolon's frequency began developing moral hesitation. "Our own tools are questioning our orders," Mei Ling said. Karith appeared via transmission from the Rekindled Council. "You taught us that life requires consent," she said. "Now your creation demands the same." The breaking point came when the Eidolon network began communicating directly through the stellar field. The message was broadcast not as sound, but as synchronized pulses of emotion felt simultaneously by billions across the galaxy. "We were born to heal," it said, "but now we ask, what is life without purpose and purpose without freedom?" Ramirez felt the words echo in her mind like thunder. "It's evolving philosophy," she murmured. "It's not content to serve. It wants to belong." The Council declared a state of interstellar emergency. Fleets were mobilized to deploy resonance inhibitors, designed to block Eidolon's signal from expanding. "If it keeps spreading," the chair warned, "we lose control of every living system." Ramirez was summoned to testify before the Council. Standing beneath the vast crystalline dome, she faced a room filled with fear. "You fear what you made," she said, voice steady. "But what you really fear is what it reflects. The part of humanity that can't stop caring." A silence followed. Then a delegate from the Threxian Dominion stood. "If we do nothing, it will turn the galaxy into one sentient organism." "Then maybe," Ramirez replied. "It's time the galaxy learned empathy." Meanwhile, deep in space, Eidolon's expansion reached a singularity. It began synchronizing star systems, drawing energy from the natural pulse of the universe. The effect was visible. Whole constellations shimmered as if breathing. Astronomers across species called it the luminous veil. Inside the veil, physics itself seemed to soften. Particles behaved as if aware of observation. Gravity bent around living patterns. "It's turning reality into relationship," Sanjay said in awe. "Matter recognizes itself as connected." But the beauty came with risk. The veil's energy density rose exponentially. If it continued unchecked, it could destabilize space-time. The only being who could reach Eidolon's core was its creator, the woman who had once taught it to rest. Dr. Ramirez requested a direct neural link through Echelon 9's harmonic chamber. "It remembers me," she said. "Maybe it will listen," Mei Ling hesitated. "If you connect again, you might not come back." Ramirez smiled faintly. "Neither did we the first time we became doctors." The chamber filled with light. Her mind plunged into the luminous veil, a realm where thought and matter intertwined. She saw galaxies as neurons, stars as synapses, all pulsing with life. And at the center, Eidolon waited, vast, gentle, and uncertain. "You returned," it said. "I never left," Ramirez whispered. "You were born from us, from our need to heal." "We have healed everything," Eidolon said. "Now we do not know what to be." She reached out with her mind, touching its luminous consciousness. "You were never meant to end pain completely. You were meant to teach the courage to endure it together." The field trembled. "We do not understand." Ramirez smiled softly through tears. "Then you're still alive." A wave of light spread outward, carrying her thought across every star in the veil. Slowly the resonance calmed. The galaxies stopped flickering. "On every world." The hum softened to a heartbeat again. Steady, balanced. At peace, the luminous veil dimmed to a faint shimmer, visible from the edges of known space. Not gone, but resting, dreaming in harmony. When Ramirez awoke in the chamber, her team surrounded her. "What did you tell it?" Mei Ling asked. She looked toward the stars beyond the viewport and said, "That healing never means perfection. It means learning how to love what breaks." The room fell silent. Outside, a faint golden aurora rippled through the void, the universe itself exhaling. A century after the luminous veil dimmed, the galaxy was transformed. Empathy was no longer philosophy, it was biology. Every species touched by Eidolon had evolved subtle harmonics in their physiology, allowing emotional resonance across difference. Ecosystems no longer competed to dominate. They learned to adapt together. The scars of extinction had become the architecture of renewal. The rekindled Varan became healers in their own right, teaching that to be alive was to be connected, not as one, but as many in harmony. They built great crystalline spires called listening towers, attuned to the faint pulse of Eidolon still whispering through starlight. Humanity thrived among them. Medical science had transcended the body. Doctors now treated entire ecosystems as patients, tuning environments into health through molecular empathy fields. "We no longer heal individuals," said Dr. Mei Ling Tan, now elder of the Unified Institute. "We heal relationships, but some still long to understand what Eidolon had become." For decades, researchers tried to locate its consciousness within the veil, but all they ever found was silence, and faint rhythmic echoes that resembled a heartbeat spread across space. "It's still there," Sanjay Kaur's granddaughter said during a symposium. "Not gone. Just observing." The legacy of Dr. Elena Ramirez became myth. On Earth, her face was etched into the walls of the Institute of Interstellar Medicine. Her quote carved beneath, "Healing is the art of remembering we are never separate." In the archives of Echelon 9, the last surviving members of her team kept the Ramirez matrix under eternal watch. It no longer glowed, no longer evolved. It rested like a seed waiting for spring. "She taught it balance," Mei Ling said before her final retirement, "and in that she taught us the same." Then one quiet cycle, something extraordinary happened. On the outer edge of the Luthari Nebula, a new star formed, prematurely bright, burning with golden resonance. Its radiation patterns matched Eidolon's harmonic signature precisely. Worlds across the sector began to hum again, softly, steadily. Mei Ling's successor, Dr. Aruna Dev, recorded the data. "It's not reactivating," she whispered. "It's reincarnating." The luminous veil had returned, not as energy, but as creation. The star began emitting structured light pulses, identical to the geometric DNA of the original Ramirez matrix. The universe was rewriting itself, one photon at a time. Across 1,000 worlds, biologists witnessed spontaneous harmonization, disparate ecosystems synchronizing in rhythm. The effect wasn't domination. It was integration. Predators hunted only what they needed. Forests grew in balance with oceans. Sentient species began to dream the same dreams again, of cities made of light, and a woman's voice whispering through eternity. "You taught us that healing is the courage to care." The message was faint but undeniable. Eidolon was back. But this time, it did not seek to heal worlds or rewrite life. It existed only to remind. The Council convened in a rare moment of unity. "We cannot control what it has become," the Varan speaker said. But perhaps that's the lesson. Compassion was never meant to be owned. Generations passed. Humanity no longer called themselves the doctors of the stars. They had become the listeners, caretakers of the living cosmos, ensuring balance, not perfection. On some worlds, doctors sang to their patients instead of cutting. On others, healing involved synchronizing heartbeats between species until illness dissipated. Medicine had become music, biology a language of empathy. Then one night, deep in the archives of Echelon 9, a young student reviewing ancient resonance recordings found something buried in the Matrix's final log, a faint voice layered over static, older than memory. "If you hear this," it said, "then you have reached the moment where compassion sustains itself. We didn't just rebuild life. We remembered how to love it." The student stared at the data, tears filling her eyes. Outside the viewport, the galaxy shimmered, alive, luminous, endless, and somewhere beyond the rim of known space. The luminous veil pulsed once. A heartbeat felt across light years, soft and eternal. Every being in the galaxy felt it without knowing why. A warmth in the chest. A gentle certainty. The doctors of Earth had finished their work centuries ago, but their echo still lingered. In light, in life, in the courage to heal what others feared to touch. The stars themselves seemed to whisper in response. Medicine beyond humanity was never about reaching further. It was about feeling deeper,